Welcome to Rally the Tartans, where ancient echoes rise with every throw, where clans gather, steel meets stone, and the past walks beside us. We're lifting culture, throwing tradition, and celebrating the warriors, the history, and the heart of the Highland Games. I'm your host, Michael Paul Wolfgar Lewis. Let's rally the Tartans. For decades, if you wanted to know who threw the furthest stone, who held a record, or what happened at a Highland Games 5, 10, or even 20 years ago, there was one place nearly everyone went: NASGA. The North American Scottish Games Athletics website quietly became the unofficial archive of our sport. It preserved records, results, rankings, histories, and stories from generations of athletes who stepped into the throwing field before us. Recently, the Highland Games community noticed some difficult news, and NASGA went offline. Suddenly, years of history that appeared to be hanging in the balance, but history has a funny way of finding people willing to protect it. At the same time, we're seeing new athletes enter the game, new throwing clubs form, even universities beginning to explore the Highland Game program. We're also seeing members of our community step forward to preserve the records and the stories that got us here. Today's episode is exactly about that: the future preserving the past. We'll sit down later with Clay Buchanan to discuss the success of Clan Buchanan Throwing Club and why throwing clubs may be the single greatest investment clan societies can make in the future of Scottish athletics. Then we're going to discuss the impact of NASGA and what it meant to our sport, why its loss matters, and how Scottish Athletics International and Danny Webster are helping ensure that that history isn't lost through the development of NASGAScores.com. Tradition survives when people choose to carry it forward. That's what we're here to help today. Welcome to Rally the Tartans. Listen, guys, as you know, tradition is real big about everything that we do, and that NASGA discussion is near and dear to my heart because, you know, if you've been involved in the Highland Games for any length of time, you've had to have visited the NASGA website. Not only did it hold the records and the stories that we hold dear, but that form was priceless. There was legendary athletes that kept daily logs of their workouts and their regiments, and it storied how they went from just competing as an athlete to being one of the best athletes of record. So the North American Scottish Games Athletic website, it was as the central hub for all of our rankings and records and athlete information, the historical results, the conversations that were had, the ideas that were shared, the disagreements in training was all there for everyone to see. You know, for many of our newer athletes, NASGA was just simply a website. You know, now that they won't ever see it again. And that's sad. But for veteran competitors, it was literally that living archive. It was history on paper in front of us. Maybe not paper, but you get what I'm saying. Thousands of performances, thousands of athletes, just decades of history. The possibility of losing that information is a reminder that preserving a culture requires active stewardship. And that's what I hope all of you that listen to this show take serious. And there's lots of different ways for us to move forward with that. Now, what does that look like for us moving forward? You know, making sure that we have a site that can support us. Let's look at it. Let's see what it is, and let's see how it's going. When you go to look up NASGA, and again, you know, we're always trying to change and be better. We are using a new recording platform for our audience. I have a lot more abilities than what I've had in the past, so I just want to, you know, show this out there. This is what we're looking at, and I don't have anything up and ready for you guys to go to see for our visual learners. over there that like to follow us on YouTube or follow our Spotify that actually shows video, this is one of the saddest pictures I've ever seen. And moving forward, again, we're going to move over to this beautiful website that's coming up, NASGA 2.0, NASGAScores.com. Guys and girls, if you are out there and you have not signed up, please go to this website, hit that get notified when we launch, get your information in there. There is some contactability for questions going forward. From what I understand, they have harvested as many records from NASGA that they could, and it should transfer over. For any of you that are still looking for your scores, landing on heavy athlete or Highland athlete, there's two different websites here that seem to be competing. I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't really care which one you go to. I'm not paid to talk about either one. I'm just a fan of the sport and use them myself. So, make sure that you get over there and check out something of this nature because NASGA should be the end all be all. I don't want to take anything away from Highland Athlete or heavyathletics.com. Heavy Athletics is a really awesome website as well that I personally use. So again, not paid promotion for any of those guys. That's just, again, something that I like to use and make sure that I get out there. But go check that out, be a part of it. See exactly what is going to be best for you and get involved. All right. In what's going on. So, real quick, that's just the little opening spiel for us to get ready for the rest of the day. Had some fantastic Highland Games going on. Guys, we even had a world record happen over the course of the last couple weeks since we dropped our last video. And again, I'm going to probably cut this in a little bit better for you guys to see it in a second, but we're going to try a couple of different things and then see what it looks like on paper, because again, we're trying to produce the best opportunity here. This is Mr. Cameron. Mr. Cameron has set a new world record. Cameron Newkirk, a 25-pound sheaf. He hit 29 feet, which is about 3 feet 6 inches higher than the previous world record. Watch this bad boy fly. Absolutely love it. One more time real quick. And again, I'm going to try to cut in something for you guys to see just that without my face. This is a great throw. Had the height, had the roll. There he goes. That is what I'm talking about. I do have permission for Mr. Cameron to play that for us today. So again, if I have any athletes out there, I've had a couple people say I can use video. I have one really funny from the Central Kentucky Highland Games. The guy I was doing wob, and whoever was shooting the video kind of cut the carryover felt's face afterwards, and it was priceless. Again, we're going to start working on that. My coaching season has wound down for the throws team, kicking off next week for summer camp for football. I'll be in that 1 week for July, 1 week for June, 1 week for July. So I should have a lot more time to really focus on this Rally the Tartans podcast that we're trying to build. Obviously, if you've been followers for a while, you've seen a couple different like little studio angles where we sit. Got some new things in today for my birthday right here. This wonderful poster that we're going to use at the clan tent. Of course, it has all the old school Scotland clans and their shields and stuff like that. So starting to get some more things in for the studio. And again, just trying some new things out, making sure that we are having a good conversation and making sure that the entertainment factor is there. So real quick shout out after the last one, a couple of different games have happened since from coast to coast. Real big shout out to Georgia Mountain, though. Georgia Mountain looked like it had a fantastic ride. as far as the individuals that were there. A shout out to a couple of my buddies there. Andrew Elliott, I think he might have tore a hamstring or something before he went there. And I'm not sure if he actually got there or what happened, but we will have to check the tape and see. I know how those are when you hit an injury right before something like that happens. It's a horrible situation. But again, not just Georgia. Georgia Mountain was June 6th. The Portland Highland Games was also June 6th. Milwaukee, my buddy Mike for Clan Campbell out in Milwaukee invited me out. I didn't get a chance to go out there. June 6th was the state championship for Indiana. So I had just had a lot of things going on. But again, we've had an action-packed June so far. Even this weekend here, June 13th and 14th. That's fantastic weekend. It was my birthday weekend, turned 43. But there were some awesome events. Abe's Ancient Athletics had a huge Highland Games and Strength Expo out in Springfield, as always. Scott's Fest out in Utah seemed to be really huge. They always have just a great turnout, not just of athletes, but just the whole culture and event there. Normally, most of their classes have, 5 to 10 people, mostly 10. You see a lot of that, but they just had some amazing pros out there as well. Utah, you've seen John Van Buren just throw some monster bombs again. That guy's doing great. Jasmine Porter got her first invite for a pro. She's from Tennessee. She's a beast. She also throws discus. I show a lot of my high school discus throwers her videos and stuff. She's got some really good technique for that. If there's any other track and field nerds out there like myself, but just that was an overall great weekend for our pros. Had a great pro class. Jasmine, of course, taking first. John Van Buren taking first in the pros. But the amateurs showed out as well. And again, guys, you can track these numbers. You can go over to Highland Athlete or heavyathlete.com. Those are two different websites to get all that information. I'm not here to kind of go over scores and throws with you. I'm here because I want to make sure that we get this video out to show you guys some highlight reels. And I promise we're working on that. We've got a couple things going as far as the new software that we're using. And of course, I'm learning Premiere Pro as we go on the fly, kind of a one-man band. I did get a producer in here, not in-house, but he kind of helps me go over the audio so we don't have any audio problems because the audio has been really upsetting me. But just making sure that we're coming in clean for you because we want to do our best. So again, shout out to everybody at Scott's Fest and Abe's, Milwaukee, Georgia Mountain. What a fantastic time that was. So anyways, guys, if you're an athlete and you're listening to this and you're like, hey, use my video, send it to me. Send me your best video. I mean, all day long I could go to my friends list and do it that way. I just don't know if that is the correct etiquette way to do that, man. Again, just popping off here. If you're watching us live, or excuse me, if you're watching the recording, you can see that on one of our Spotify channels and our YouTube channel that we have some video here that we're able to, share what we're looking at. First thing that pops up here. Let me drop that camera thing off real quick. First thing that pops up here is obviously Iron Herd. You guys know me and Jason are friends. It's so funny. My kids make fun of us because I always say his name wrong. But he's been a big supporter of ours since the beginning. He's got a new drop for some Iron Herd apparel. Maybe that's just a shameless plug for a buddy of mine. But anyways, there's all kinds of things that we could kind of look at. I don't want to just sit here and go through my feeds. We could do it all day long. Again, if I just went to friends on my Rally the Tartans, woo, see, we got all kinds of I don't know about the nails there. I don't know about the nails there. I don't know what happened, and the music got crazy. But we we have all kinds of options to do this, and I just need your help in getting me the videos that you're going to let me put out, because again, I want this to be more of a reel to reel us throwing up videos of some awesome world records, maybe some funny blooper videos, and we'll kind of start going about it that way. So that's kind of your games recap for the day. Uh, right now, I think the most important thing to do would be to just kind of move over and let me introduce Clay Buchanan, who happens to be an inspiration to me on a few different a few different things that we're trying to do in our own clan society. So here we go. For years, clans have shown up at the Highland Games with tents, tartans, genealogy, and history. But what if clans became something even bigger? What if every major clan actively invested in athletes, training, youth development, and the future of Scottish athletics itself? One clan has already started doing exactly that. Clay Buchanan of Clan Buchanan built a throwing club to support athletes and strengthen the culture surrounding the games. Tonight, we ask those questions. Should every clan follow their lead? Clay, welcome to Rally the Tartans.
Michael, thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate it. It's an honor.
Man, the honor is all mine. What you have done, I have already went to the clans. I'm a member of Clan Campbell. I've talked to them, Clan Gunn, Clan Stewart. I've asked them why they aren't following your lead. So I really have to know what first inspired the creation of the Clan Buchanan Throwing Club.
Um, well, I got involved in throwing kind of about the same time that I got involved in Clan Buchanan and Scottish history, and I was getting more and more into it, and was kind of interested in just the clan stuff itself. And if I don't mention that my wife got me into this, she will kill me. So I got to put in a plug for Julie. So how it really kind of got started was she said, "Have you ever been to a Celtic festival?" And I'm like, "No," and she was amazed. Being Scottish, where most of her background was Swedish and Norway. Um, so I went to Highland Games here in San Antonio, close to where I live. And the first thing we did after getting the obligatory sweaters and blankets, because it was cold as kraut and raining, which is weird for Texas in April, but it was. We went over to watch the athletes, and I just was sitting there mesmerized. And it was actually it was a masters group that was throwing, so they're all about my age and stuff. And I was just sitting there watching, and my wife goes, "You want to do that, don't you?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, because I can beat that guy, and I can probably beat that guy. Oh, that guy's really good. I don't think I'll ever beat that guy." It was really funny, and I don't know if you ever had him on the show, but the guy was watching throwing this I'll never beat was Mike Dickens, who's been like 6 or 7 time world masters champion, former pro and stuff. So that was that. But and then somebody came over to talk to their wife that next to us, and I just got up to him and said, "Hey man, how do you get into this?" And he says, "You on Facebook?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I hadn't really thought much about it, but he's like, "Well, here's these groups and this, that, and the other, and just sign up and we'll teach you how to throw."
Okay.
So a couple years down the road, this is like 2018, I was getting more and more involved with CBSI, which is the Clan Buchanan Society International, and it started to convene tents, and then got into wanting to be more involved in the clan side of it. And they decided that they were going to make a competition chair. Or actually, I think the way it started out was it was all kind of competitions. They were thinking of dance competitions, bagpipe competitions, Highland game competitions, and like you can be in charge of all that. You willing to do it? And I'm like, not dancing bagpipes. I do not know anything about them. I will defer to the other stuff. But I think it was really part of a big movement um, in the last couple of years of Clan Buchanan to try to figure out how to get more and more membership, more and more younger people involved. Um, you know, we didn't want to see happen to us what happened to a lot of clans, where like just the people that are invested are like the older folks, and and younger people don't really go. I don't want to sit out there in the field in the tent, just talking to people and doing something. They need to do something more active. And so I think that's kind of where they had the idea to come up with a competition chair, to try to bring in young people into the sport through that. And they said, just go with it and it's all yours. Do something with it. That was the only directive that I got. Um, So I said, okay. So I figured that, wanting to do all this stuff, I said, well, I'll just start a throwing club, and I'll put it on Facebook, and I'll build all this other stuff. And like I think we talked before the show, I got so many other things I'm doing. I am not as good on following up on social media stuff as I should, and we can talk more about that later. It's like mistakes I've made, but that was where the first genesis was just to try to get Buchanans and all the various SEPs and anyone that wants to be in a Buchanan, a place to come to talk about the games. To, hey, here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm doing, to connect from different parts of the country. Potentially have it where enough people, they're like, hey, I'm going to do a game over in your area. Can I come stay with you? To kind of get maybe like free, not really, Airbnb, but basically, places to stay if you're going to travel for games. And it didn't really have a bigger goal than just to get people to talk about it, and that way get them interested, and maybe then shift them into, hey, also, why don't you join Clan Buchanan and get all the other stuff, as an entree
Yeah.
to the clan.
So
So
that's awesome.
that's how it started.
I was going to kind of ask you, like, what was the goal? Was it originally athletic, cultural, community driven? And it's kind of all that.
It was
Um,
all that, but I limited it to what I felt I could do.
yeah.
So, yeah, on that vein, they revamped Clay Buchanan, or CBSI revamped their website. I wrote, with the help of someone else, pulling some pictures, but I'd sent in a lot of videos and pictures and stuff. But with help of the web designer, I found some other pictures. Basically, wrote the athletics page, um, basically explaining the games, a little bit of the history of the games, each of the events, with videos, how-to videos that's on the CBSI website. Um, so yeah, it's kind of, so it is incorporated into the actual clan society.
Okay. Heck yeah. That's awesome. So let me ask you this a little bit more athletic wise. Do you see a gap in athletic support at the Highland Games where you
Oh,
are?
yes, for sure. I'll give you an example, and this happens frequently. There could be ways to fix it, but I don't know that it would. It's going to have a lot more communication among people. But I will go to a game. I'll travel somewhere to a game. Let's say, so for example, in January, I went down to Central Florida and threw down there in the game. It was also like the annual general meeting. Um, and it wasn't until, if people happened to walk by the field and saw, oh, hey, it wasn't until like the second day of the event. And I'd thrown on the first day. I was walking around and going, oh man, I didn't know you were throwing, and all this kind of stuff. I'd have come down and watched. And so, it's, there's and I can only speak for myself, but I think that there's a gap in when the athletes do it. Like, say, they don't seem as connected to the clan side of it, so they don't always notify, hey man, go talk to your clan tent, and let them know that you're there, so they can always direct people that come out to visit. Hey, why don't you go watch one of our athletes over at the field? Here's what their tartan looks like, because obviously all the tents have tartans and stuff. This is what our tartan is. Go watch those, and support the games and stuff like that. I think that the tents could do a little bit more to support the games. I think there is a disconnect. I think a lot of the people that are in Highland Games are just like ex-athletes and whatnot that just want to keep, competing and stuff. And I can't say that I'm not one of those. They just don't have as much connection to an actual society. So I wish that they would. So that's I do think that there is a gap.
So you have a connection there with me. The first games I had ever went to watch as a spectator was Dunedin. The first games I had ever participated in as a thrower was Central Florida. And oh my God, that was something just else. It was different. And then I moved to Indiana, where I am now, and it's a completely different world. Florida, there's not a clan role, there's a clan village.
Yes.
In Indiana, there's, two or three clan tents. In Kentucky,
It,
there might be 5 or 6 clan tents,
yep.
and it's a lot different coming from that world down in Florida. So I guess, is that what you see as one of the big problems, that you're trying to solve? Because I think that's where I'm at. I am a commissioner in Clan Campbell, deputy commissioner. I'm an athlete. I see both sides, and I see kind of that lack from both sides, feeding into each other for that
Um,
longevity.
this is one of those things that I think had come to mind that I mentioned before we started that gives me more ideas. I should circle back to try to incorporate it more and closing that gap. Um, so I do think there's a role. I understand exactly what you're saying as far as like in different places, the amount of involvement with the clans and stuff, as far as like at the actual games. Central Florida, it's a whole separate thing over here. The field's awesome over here, but it's like, it's a lot. It's a whole lot, but it was great. It was awesome. And then I've been to other games, just like going, yeah, man, there's like one vendor, one tent, and it's just the athletes. So, um, I think that may be more a matter of where the games are and the clans having conveners in the area that are willing to travel there. Um, I think that um, the athletes, if they get involved in trying to reach out to their clan website, could advertise more when they're going to certain games. Not just, so the clan society is real good about, hey, we're going to convene a tent at X Games. The athletes don't always do it, and so I think that they could get more involved in that. And that's one thing I think that I have found out through the throwing club that um, I wish there had been. I wish there's more dialogue amongst each other on the club, not just like me saying, "Hey, here's what's going over here, and here's what's going over here," and other people. So I've kind of opened it up to some other administrators that are in the throwing club to try to get more people, just conversing back and forth about different things. Um, I don't know if it's just a matter of people um, just too busy, or it's like so far down their list of priorities. I don't know. I wish it was more interactive amongst the members. It doesn't seem to be that way a lot. I think there was also another problem with I don't, this isn't a problem. Let me back up and say this. Um, when I first started it, because my first name Clay is so close to Clan, a lot of people that were just friends of mine that weren't anywhere close to being a Buchanan, but oh, this is Clay's thing. Let's just join up. And so I don't think, even though I put, hey, this is for people with this set names, and if you think you might be, and it's for the clan. I mean, I had read this whole little preamble book, and people just friends of mine that had nothing to do with any of that, just signed up, and I'm like, okay, well, let me just get some followers in this thing first, and I'll worry about everything else later. So that's kind of where we are with it right now.
Well, and like I said, man, I followed it because I think it's a fantastic idea. I think other clans should definitely follow suit. I think there's definitely some opportunity there to, support our best throwers. I know there's a Campbell that just got invited to the Masters World Championship. It's over in the Netherlands. That's not cheap. It's a
Nope.
it's a way for the family to, the distant cousins to all chip in so we can go have a world champion, whether it be a Buchanan or a Campbell or a Bruce or whoever's throwing that weekend. So I love it. It sounds like it is kind of or started out as a one-man band. Did the clan immediately support this idea? Did it take some convincing? Was there any
Oh no, they were all
resistance?
no,
Or
they were fine. Because none of the people that were on the board or the executive council or anything were athletes or knew anything about it. So they couldn't say if I was doing right, wrong, or anything. They're just like, hey man, it's your show, go do it and just let it go. And anything I did is like, you can't mess up because there's no bar. We don't have anything to gauge it against. So
right.
it was kind of a no pressure thing from them. Um, More of a pressure thing for myself than anything else.
So was the specific moment you there at Central Florida and the buddy saying, "Hey, I didn't know you was throwing. I would have came watch," or what was the moment that really just pushed this idea forward and said, "I got to do this. This has to happen."
I mean, I had done it. The game, so the phone club been out there for has been out there for a couple of years, um, at least been over a year. Um, but as far as like getting, and I just would kind of go do my thing. I'd go throw, hey, I'm going here. Anyone, where else everybody else going? I put out, used to be every week, hey, where's everybody throwing this weekend, and see who would respond and stuff. Um, and trying to get some more inch stuff. My son-in-law, Brody Taylor, is like a really, really good Class A, and he's going to he got invited to Minnesota to the Amateur World Championships. So I kind of put him on there a lot to kind of help promote him, and maybe that would draw some interest because maybe he's a younger dude that like, oh, I want to be like that. I'm like in the the Masters. Yeah, I'm going to the Netherlands too, and yeah, it's going to be an expensive trip. So, but uh it when I showed, so they had a meeting or the AGM that Saturday night after I'd thrown, and I said, well, just to kind of show off, because the cool thing about Central Florida, if you've ever thrown there, is they give you medals for every event. And so I walked in because I'd won my class, and I walked in with like a chest full of medals, and I'm like, this is what you guys missed if you just walked down to the field. And I'm like, man, they did, but nobody knew. And so I'm like, I should have, you know, during a break, walked up the field. Hey, you need to come down, dude. I'm walking up. But
Yeah, for sure. No,
I get
definitely,
so
man.
focused on the game stuff, I forgot to do that part. So I need to do a better job of that for sure.
Well, listen, that's all right, man. I tell everybody we're farmers. We're planting seeds. If it didn't happen this year, that seed's going to grow, and next year it's going to be a whole crowd of Buchanans down there cheering you on. So, but listen, I'm super interested in how this is structured. I'm going to throw a million things at you. Obviously, is it formally tied to the clan organization? Is it nonprofit? Is it informal? Obviously, it's athlete led. How's membership work? Give me some of the nuts and bolts.
So the nuts and bolts, there's no real structure other than me. Which is not a really good structure if you're relying on me to do everything. I'm real good at doing a bunch of stuff real quick, and then I'll forget about it because I got other stuff. So, it's not as formalized. That wasn't really the idea because I wasn't really thinking of. But you've made me think about this more. And I don't know if you know. There's an announcer. Named Buck Buchanan with the big handlebar mustache.
With
You
the
probably
big
see him. He's over on the
stash.
East Coast.
Yeah.
So if you know
Yeah.
Buck, he's like, we got to get clan stuff doing something. So he's approached me about it, but then he's never followed up. And this was like last year at Loch Norman when we talked about it. So it's been over a year and nothing. You've brought it up again about Clan Campbell. It's like, yeah, man, I need to just reach out to other clans to do stuff. But as far as the organization for this, it's not that formally organized. Although I think that if we got other clans involved in doing it, it would come to an organization, because then we could have like, hey, let's have an event somewhere. And it would need to get more organized. It's fully supported by the clan because, like I said, they promote it on the CBSI website. Like I said, there's a whole thing, like I said, the whole athletics page that I wrote for them, plus pictures like, hey, if you're interested in this, here's the Clan Buchanan Throwing Club. There's all that stuff. So it's fully supported by the clan. And I know that one of the things that you kind of want to know is like, well, do they support the athletes in other ways? Yeah. So this year, there is a female pro named Alyssa Watkins. And we have a scholarship program that if you wanted through CBSI, not through the Throwing Club, like $1,000 a year if you for some project that advances Scottish culture, and you can apply for it, and then they'll kind of decide. Well, she wanted to go throw in Scotland this summer, so she was awarded the scholarship to defer some of the cost for her to go throw in Scotland at an event. So they have put a little bit of their money where their mouth is, as it were. So they do support. So that's how it's structured. There isn't one, but I probably need to make one more. So it's definitely athlete led. It's not any kind of nonprofit. I mean, yeah, I'd say it's nonprofit because there's no money involved.
So,
I mean,
most people don't know, but we pay to throw.
I mean, I've made T-shirts to promote the club with the cool logo. And so, I mean, I basically was like, hey man, pay me back for the shirt plus, maybe $5 for the pain in the ass and postage and I'll send you a shirt. Hey, I got, and kilt patches and stuff. So I've got that. And I've had pretty good response to those. But that's basically it. But it's not like a real big money driven um things. Memberships basically like just sign up, get on Facebook and sign up. Anyone, like I said, it started off with like if you're in Claim You Can, but you know, my theory on clan membership was it was a matter of who you align, not always, because it's not always a blood relationship, it's who you align yourself with back in the day, for protection and support and everything else. And so going forward, carrying that kind of mentality, I am not one to say, well, you have to be one of these exact names, you have to have this genealogy, you have to have this. It's like, dude, if you want to be Buchanan, cool, man, sign up. I'm cool with that. Wear the
Exactly.
stuff, throw the stuff, just, come hang out, be Buchanan. If that's who you want to align with, I'm good with that. That may not be the official CBSI line, but I do know they have people that you can be a member without having to prove any kind of genealogical lineage. So they actually kind of are aligned with that.
Right, right.
So you don't have to be a Buchanan. Um, so anyone can join. You don't have to be one. Like I said, most of the people that signed up initially were friends of mine that aren't. Um, And then as of kind of, and when I first did it, I kind of like put the announcement for it and then posted it to like as many different Facebook throwing clubs and whatnots, you know, Texas Celtic Athletic Association, TCAA, NASGA, as I could around the country, try to get some feedback and get some feelers from different places. And it was okay. But I probably need to do it, circle back more often so that it pops up. I'm not really good about hashtagging stuff. Um, so that may be a problem that I'm kind of losing some audience with that. I'm not as social media as I should be. So
No, I completely understand that. And I actually have I don't know if I don't know what I have. It's not really what I have, but I have something for the throwing team, Clan Buchanan Throwing Team. One of my last interviews I did just on the first was with a college kid, Mason Stroud. He's a former high school track and field athlete. I coached him in high school his senior year, and he went to engineering school. He really wasn't wanting to focus on throwing. He wanted to just kind of focus on his engineering school, but he actually went to his first Highland Games just a month ago, and the kid is hooked. He's already done a second one, and he is now wanting to start a Highland Games club, a sports club at the University of Cincinnati. After our interview, and it's literally only been up a couple of days, a few days, another kid from UC has reached out to him that's on the throws team up there that throws Division One, saying, "Hey, I've done a couple Highland Games, and we want to start this." And they want to start something in their conference, I believe is the Big 12, to where they go and throw against other colleges. So that's something I think Clan
great.
Buchanan Throwing Club could really help us achieve. I say us just as a collective community. I really don't have anything to do with it other than bringing it up and talking about it. But that's where, I said earlier we were farmers and planting seeds. You've planted a great seed here with the clan supporting athletics through a throwing team. That's something that we can do. We've talked about getting younger people involved. You know, why couldn't the Buchanan sponsor a local college throwing team to help them? Maybe it's with equipment. Maybe it's just a little bit of coaching on the side on how to pick a caber. It's supporting the amateurs, the next wave of our pros and our masters when they get older, because we're not going to be around forever, right?
Yeah. Well, one of the things, and like I said, it brought out, I think it's great that the young guys were like, and that's, one of the things that you see is like you get the college throwers and they already kind of walk in with some knowledge of how to do some of the basic events. Some things are, it depends on what they throw. But I think that's awesome. If it was a college thing, why not? you know um I think that when you have the right or have the ability to, like, hey man, you could design your own tartan for your own stuff and kind of make it unique, and people like that kind of sense of belonging to stuff. I think that would help it grow. Everybody likes swag, so you get them
No,
some
that they
swag, man.
do. That they do. So just kind of picking your brain a little bit on
Mhm.
some of the logistics. What are the biggest logistic challenges for you in making this thing grow nationally, internationally, getting you some help? You know what I mean?
um One of the biggest logistic problems I have is posting enough stuff in enough places to get interest or people see it. Number one. Um, that's I think that would, if you ever just kind of scroll around on stuff, you'll see people posting their own individual throws and stuff, with their own little thing on Instagram. I'm not big on doing that now. Like I say, I don't sit there and video everything, but like I say, my son-in-law that's like a good class A does. So I think that would be, that's kind of more the younger set. So I think that having a bigger Instagram, and some of the other stuff other than Facebook, which is kind of older, presence would help. I think that you had said you were kind of you're affiliated with Clan Campbell. Maybe we need to talk. I don't know who your thing is, but maybe we need to, maybe you're the person I could talk to about Clan Campbell. Hey man, who have you talked to? Because you said you mentioned other clans. Who do I need to talk to? Who can we, and if you want to have a kind of, and develop that kind of rivalry, maybe, if we're not going to go out and, old school clans shoot each other, let's go out and throw each other. Or out throw each other, I should say.
Right.
I don't actually want to get thrown.
And I see that all the time. There's a rivalry over here on the East Coast. I don't know if it's a rivalry. They seem to be great friends. Danny Webster's an AD. Mark Pentecostal, I believe is his name. I can't remember his last name. These two guys go back and forth on social media, and it's the most entertaining thread that you could see on social media, and yet they're out there pushing each other on the field. So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, if we got to talk a little internet smack so it gets more people out to the field to cheer us on, then yeah,
Why
I mean,
not?
we're going to be friends on the field anyways.
Oh,
And that's what
yeah.
I've loved about this culture is you are literally throwing against everybody on the field, yet everybody is cheering you on to hit your next PR. And that's the best feeling in the whole world. Coming from football, where we wanted to crush the other team.
Yeah. No, man, I 100% agree with you that getting into the Highland Games has been one of the best things I've ever done because and I've been doing it for 7.5 years now. Um, and it has I have met so many cool people and so many nice people everywhere I go. And nobody wants anybody to get hurt. Everybody wants everybody to do their best, and if you beat them by an inch or they beat you by an inch, you're just like, "Ah, dude, good throw, man. That was nice." Then nobody really gets bent out of shape. Um, and the amount of smack talking, and I will say, I may not be good on social media, but dude, out in the field, I'm the nightmare as far as like, dude, I'll talk smack all day long. Um, but it's fun, it's like, it's just a great day, out there throwing with friends, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, listen, let me ask you this. Do you think the Highland Games clans sometimes focus too much on preserving the past and not enough building the future? We kind of touched on it a little
Um,
bit, but
yes. I think that Clan Buchanan, because I say I can't speak about other clans, but I'm gonna make assumptions about other clans based on where discussions I've been a part of and overheard and everything for the last few years being kind of in the upper echelon of CBSI, where we were to where we want to go. And, um, you know, the clan a few years ago, maybe 10, 15 years ago, was like almost totally dead. It was like almost no membership. Everybody was aging out. They weren't really doing anything it was all paper and stuff. And just, it didn't do a good job of keeping it up. And I think, I think a lot of clans are in that situation. I know that we had some new leadership that came in and revitalized it. And then the leadership that's in there right now, I know is really working on not just it's figuring out a way to keep it going, where it's not just going to die out because everyone aged out of it and passed away or whatever. They were also highly investing in a lot of cultural projects in Scotland and other things around the clan lands and things, and preserving some old churches that are there and stuff. Trying to come up with other uh, scholarships and things for people to kind of explore and stuff. Scottish heritage history. So I think they want to preserve the past, but I think that we're working to try to figure, okay, how do we keep it going in the future? How do we build to make it bigger? I'm hoping other clans do the same. I think it's easy to fall into a malaise of just like, hey, I'll do the same thing I did last time, and then this is what I do, and then other people come and go, that looks boring. I don't want to do it, and so it just kind of
Yeah, for sure.
dwindles down by attrition. Um, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm kind of with you there. To preserve the past, you really have to build for the future, because without a future, there's nobody's going to be there to care about the past. So let me ask you this: do you believe, this is your kind of your brainchild? Do you believe other clans should consider building throwing clubs like you're doing and kind of follow
Oh,
suit?
well, like I did it?
Yeah.
I would hope they would do it better than I did.
Hey, you
Um,
started it. That's all that matters.
so
Is you
yeah,
started it.
so I mean, hey, I mean, it's kind of like this is like the beta version. This is the test version of how to make things better. Do I think other clans should? Heck yes. Do I wish they would? Heck yes. Do I wish that there was a whole separate series of games maybe in the country, and actually because it's so widespread, we may have to do it like in different areas and not just like one central thing. That would be big enough. Some kind of calling the clans for throwing the clans. I don't know, whatever you're gonna name it. To have just clan on clan like teams throw against each other. I mean, I'll go lots of games and the ones I go to that have pro classes. Frequently they'll have like teams. They'll have like a guy and a girl, and it's the combined
Yeah.
score that wins stuff. So we could do it in teams and like figure out different rules for it. So I think it would be a great way to revive clan rivalry, to revive interest. Um, and then, like I say, once you kind of get into that of it, well, what's the next step? What's the next? So it might lead you into getting more into the actual history of stuff. Um, and maybe it doesn't, but it's still a part of the history. It's still a part of the clan. I don't know that everybody has to be involved in every aspect of it, but I would definitely love to have other clan throwing clubs that I could speak to about, hey man, what where are y'all located mostly? Where's your biggest population? But can we have a game where it's like, Clan Campbell against Clan Buchanan against, Clan McDonald versus McGregor versus whoever else, that we could come up with. That I think would be awesome.
Well, listen, I'm actually kind of partial to Rally the Tartans. If we ever needed to do that,
Well, then we can use that name. I have no problem.
you are more than welcome to use that if you
If
need
you're
it.
okay with us using your name,
So, and it's funny that you say that, because I was literally just going to ask you, what do you think would happen if 10 of the major clans all invested in athletes and did something? And then that was my next question. You were already teeing that up for something perfect about, let's have clan versus clan throwing events where
why
our
not?
three best throws against your three best men, women's, pro, amateur, masters, lightweight, whatever it could be. I mean, that's amazing. That's great. That
I mean,
is the competitive spirit of why we do what we do.
we could do, if you built up some kind of really cool trophy that whichever clan team won, that clan would get to keep it for a year and stuff. And so, it's like this is like a rivalry trophy. Why not? You know?
Absolutely. See, that is the birth of a fantastic idea that came from Clan Buchanan Throwing Team captain Clay Buchanan.
It, it came from you and me talking about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're part of the idea, man. So
Okay,
I'll
that
give you
works for
credit. I'll
me.
give you credit.
I appreciate that.
No problem.
So, and something that I've always wanted to do is I've wanted to elevate the professionalism and the legitimacy of the sport. You and I've talked before. I've told you, man, when I was a kid in the 90s, I've seen this on ESPN. I want to see it get back there. I understand 8 hours on the Ocho probably isn't the way to do it. More of a sports clip of highlights and things,
Yeah,
probably going down the road. But I mean, what you're talking about and what you're doing with Clan Buchanan's Throwing Club, I mean, it's elevating that professionalism, that legitimacy in the sport, in my opinion. So that's why I hope other clans just catch on and say, you know what?
yeah,
Clay's onto something. The Buchanans are supporting him. Let's have this let's have this round table discussion. Let's have whoever the trustees of each clan is, or the presidents or whatever, sit down and say, hey, guys, yes, we're here for, preserving the past, talking about genealogy, pushing forward, that growth of the clan itself. But let's invest into the athletes, because the athletes do draw people to the event. They are the dog and pony show.
More
We are the
people will
ones.
stop at the games than will stop at a tent.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was so hard. The first one I went to in Dunedin, I was glued to the field. I took my kids, it was me and my daughters, and they were like, Dad, we want to go look at this. We want to go look at that. And I'm just like, listen, just walk over there. I have to see this. I was fascinated with Wob. I absolutely hate Wob. Uh, I love everything else. I was fascinated watching it. Once I did it, I was like, "Oh my god, this is the worst. How do I master this?" But that's what I'm talking about. I think your brainchild here with the throwing club, even though it's in its, I don't want to say infancy, but you're like, "Hey, it's just me, and I'm trying to grow it, and everything else." I mean, the bigger vision is great for everything that you said. So, I mean, I'm hoping, again, they can take heed to what you said. You said you guys have helped, one of your throwers for a scholarship, go throw in Scotland. That's beautiful, man. That is preserving the past by sending them over there right now to touch that hallowed ground that we celebrate here. And there's no romanticism here in my world. I'm an American with Scottish heritage. I don't feel like I'm Scottish. I just have this heritage that I appreciate. My ancestors that came across the Atlantic. Like, that's an amazing trip on boat, right? Like, that's something that I think we need to celebrate, and we can do it so much through the athletics. So everything that you're talking about is just next level, and I think we all need to kind of get behind you and go there. So with that being said, Clay, let me ask you some hard questions. All right.
Oh
What are
God,
the
weren't the first
earliest
ones hard?
Oh man, these are all softball questions.
Oh
Now we're getting into
God.
the fast
All
pitch.
right, go ahead, man. What's up?
So in a self-reflection, man, it's just you looking in the mirror. What mistakes did you make early in starting the throwing club?
Um,
Just so I don't have to go through
I
those.
think mistakes I made. Looking at it now, probably not being as committed to content, updating content, um, reaching out more individually to other people other than just like posting something on Facebook. Um, I think I've never been a business person. I never built a business. Um, I'm a physician, so I've already just kind of worked for another practice and stuff. I'm kind of in the process of building my own separate thing now for some other stuff. So I'm kind of getting into like, okay, now I'm like learning how to like, you know, hustle and work and do and stuff. So seeing what I'm doing now for this, I'm like, man, if I really wanted that to be a thing, um, I should have worked harder at getting words out, making things cool. I just thought because like I thought it was cool and I thought like our logo was cool. And like, man, I'll buy any t-shirt just to kind of walk around and look cool. Cause I want to look like an athlete and do this. So, I don't want some lame ass t-shirt with nothing on it. I want a cool thing with a lion throwing a weight for distance. Yeah. That everybody think that was as cool as I did. And I don't think they did. So, um, so I thought it would be easier to grow. I don't think I knew how to grow it. I think I know what I need to do to make it grow more now. It's just a matter of making it happen and like say trying to get it to where, hey, maybe other clients would do this. Like what we're talking about now has kind of inspired me to get back to that and go, hey man, yeah, I got to put more effort into it. So I think that's like the biggest mistake was I didn't know what I didn't know.
Yeah, no, exactly. I can understand that. Are there any challenges that still exist in that realm? Are there any other challenges at all? And let me be clear to anybody out there listening or playing this back. This is almost a rally cry to Clan Buchanan. If you hear Clay say something and you have that skill or if you have that ability, go look up this Facebook page, Clan Buchanan Throwing Team. It is a fantastic group of individuals on there that are not all Buchanans, but all support Clay in this effort. So, what challenges still exist today, Clay? If somebody in Clan Buchanan is listening, what can they do to make sure that you have help?
Be involved. That's the biggest thing is like, oh, I'll post something. Okay. Like, dude, I want more of a dialogue amongst people, the members, other people. Hey, how do I get into it? Asking questions. If anyone asks, how do I get into this? I mean, I will write back this long ass detailed response of like, here's what I did. Here's what you need to do. And here's places you can go to do this. Where do you live? Okay, do this, do that, do the other. Don't buy this until you get to this point because someone else will have it, and don't waste your money yet until you see if you like it. And, I mean, I will give them every detail and we'll spawn back and forth all day long because I love this. And everyone I've ever met has been so awesome. Like, dude, I want you to see how cool this is. You will find a whole new family of cool people doing this. And if, there are some people that do it once and gone, but so many people go, oh my God, this is cool. I want to do it again. I want to do it again. I want to do it again. Because like, I know I can do better. So it's kind of got that hook that, um, that's the biggest challenge is like going, not just being an anonymous like is speaking up, posting your own videos, doing something, interacting, where it's more of a dialogue, not just me posting some stuff.
Oh, I love it. That's what it takes, man. Opinions and input from people building this, brick by brick, stone by stone. So, let's move into this and kind of staring again, self reflection for myself at my own clan, Clan Campbell. What advice would you give a clan trying to start this tomorrow?
Do something.
Just
I was
jump in.
given no directive. Do something. If there's somebody, so I mean, literally how it started with us was as far as like the upper echelon of CBS, I was the only one that threw. Hey man, we want to get throwers involved. Let's get Clay. He's the expert. I don't know how expert I was, but I was the only one they knew, you know. And if you maybe I'm going down the wrong path. Maybe I'm doing not necessarily a straight path, but at least I'm making a path forward. So you can't make any path forward until you take a step, right or wrong. And maybe if you take the next step, someone else will pick it up. But hey, I'll carry it the next step because now I see what you're doing and I want to do it this way. And I think this may be better. Oh, okay, that's cool. It's collaborative. And the more and more you go, the more and more people get onto it, but you got to start somewhere. So even if it's just one guy saying, hey man, go start a throwing club or just like a Facebook group to kind of like share knowledge and maybe we'll kind of like see where you can get with that. And then, we'll support you and build from there. Um, that's all it takes is just to start. And you may make the same mistakes I made. Maybe you'll be better and have somebody in your group that's like, hey, I got nothing to do except sit on social media 24 hours a day, posting stuff and like making sure we're hitting every algorithm. Great. I don't have that, but it'd be great if I did. But just do something, life, you can't sit around and wait for life to happen, hoping it will. You can't go through life like Cinderella because you know what? That prince ain't going to come deliver that shoe. You got to go out and find them.
That's the truth. That is definitely the truth. All right. Well, listen, we've talked about the future quite a bit here. Let's talk about where you see the Clan Buchanan throwing team in the next 5 to 10 years. What's that look like?
Well, now that I've talked to you, where, where, where do I want it to be? I would love to have, I mean, I that strikes me as a real cool thing. I'd really want to have like that Rally the Tartans clan versus clan competition, that we could do it like at multiple levels. So you can have like, hey man, bring your 3 best A class, bring your 3 best, masters 40s, masters 50, whatever, and have our own thing. That would be awesome. Now finding somebody to organize that, I don't know. And it's going to be, we're not there yet, but so the first step would be get some other people to have clan throwing clubs and invest in those. Whether it's just time and money or whether it's time and effort, whether it's money, I mean, most of us do this stuff and we pay to do it, because we're dumb enough to enjoy paying to do it. But the benefit we get from it, physically and emotionally, makes it worth it to us. And and you'll see the number of people that get into it feel the same way. They're like, "Oh man, I love this. Maybe I can't do 10 games a year, but I just want to do more than one." You know. So um, I think I'm inspired more to kind of reach out again, start making rounds, trying to talk to other people in other areas of the country to kind of get it more diverse. And then um, reaching back to the executive council, hey man, who are your contacts over at this other clan? Can I talk to them about this? And so trying to find other clans that might be interested in doing this by getting information from the people. So some of the higher ups in my group, like, oh, I've talked to so and so from this clan. I talk, well, I don't know those people. How do you know those people? Hey, you need to talk to those people. Who have you talked to? Whatever. Yeah, I want to circle back and kind of make it bigger, better now.
Well, listen, let's just say I'm not going to be naive and think they are. Let's just say there's some clan leaders listening right now. What's your elevator pitch to them to make sure that their clan starts a throwing club?
You cannot go wrong. There is no wrong. Just reach out to me and let me. Now I'm saying I'm not like to me the greatest, but I'm just saying, man. But let's get something going. You know, if you find that your clan's membership's getting older and there's not a young influx coming in, this is a way to get younger influx. This is a way to get people involved. This is a way to get people out to the field to do stuff, because like we said earlier, the athletics draws way more people than the tent will. And so if you have a unified presence, that, hey man, Campbell's are cool because Campbell's got a bunch of the team out there doing something. Buchanan's are cool because they got 3 or 4 people here, all wearing, what tartan is that? Because like 5 people are wearing that same tartan, and how do they do this? It's a way to get people involved. It's a way to get younger people involved. It's a way to help grow your clan, a way to show some clan spirit. That's not just a bunch of old folks sitting in a tent. It is a way to move your clan forward.
I love it. That's stuff I've been preaching since I started this podcast, and hopefully we can drive that home. I hope they're listening. I hope they make the decision to start investing into the throwing clubs and into the younger youth to make sure that this is a all-inclusive movement and not just a bunch of masters out there. Not that I have any problem. I love my master's class. It's perfectly fine. Listen, let's have a little fun, okay? It's about time to close. I know I've kept you a lot longer than I said we would. It normally
cool.
always happens.
Hey, I thought I was going to be on for like 10 minutes and have nothing else to say. So I told you, it's like the ones you sent me before were like hour and something long. I'm like going, dude, I don't think I got that much.
I'm telling you, when you get guys and girls together that love this stuff, and I say, hey, we're going to have a 25 to 35-minute interview, just to chat, just to check in. I don't know if I've ever had one only go 25 minutes.
I found myself wound up and excited more about this conversation once I was in it than I thought I was going to be. I was like, oh, I can answer your questions. I got some stuff, but then it was just like, no, dude, this is a great idea. Let's do this now. I just came up now in this conversation. This is a great idea. Let's go follow with that. So anyway, yeah. Go ahead.
Well, good. So there's a lightning round just so we can get to know you a little bit more and, throw you some random questions real quick. Favorite Highland Games event?
Sheaf.
Awesome. Most underrated event?
Overall or for me?
For you. For overall, whatever you think.
Most overall underrated.
Underrated.
Wob.
Amen to that. Most important quality in a thrower?
Humility.
Biggest misconception about a Highland Games athlete?
Biggest conception. I don't want to say that. It's going to get me in trouble. Swigging whiskey between scotch between throws. I'm like, and I don't drink, so I know that. And I haven't seen people. But biggest misconception. Oh, you throw axes. You do tree trunks. What the hell's that? Why do you do that? They think it's like, oh, yeah. The minute that you hear like Highland Games, like, I don't even know what that is. Oh, do you throw axes? I'm like, no. It's like, oh, you pick up big stones. No, that's strongman. No, that's like, they don't. So the general public, they don't always know what you're talking about. But if you say like telephone pole or tree, oh yeah, I saw that on ESPN years ago. Okay.
Absolutely.
But they have no idea what everything else is. That's like, well, which event do you do? And you're like, all nine. No, no. What do but what's your one? I'm like, no, no. You do all nine. It's all day. You do all nine. Kind of like a decathlon. You do all of them.
I hear that so much. That's so funny. All right. So, what clan would you most like to see launch a throwing club next?
Well, since you're on the show,
Oh God, here we go. I
and
don't
since
know how Miss
everyone,
Julie
wait,
feels
hold on,
about
wait,
you,
I
but
got more personal than that. And my brother-in-law's last name is Campbell,
oh gosh.
and everyone despises the Campbells because they were government suck-ups. I'm going to say Clan Campbell. It's
Well,
on, Michael.
it, you will be the first one I invite. Okay. And listen, I know a lot of the Scottish clans get mad, but we just have more land than you guys now. That's really all. It's picking sides. We chose right. We'll argue that at another field day. But listen, Clay, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming on. I'm going to close up because I don't want to get in trouble with Miss Julie. And
Oh, no, no, man. She's good.
so we know that if Scottish clans truly want to preserve culture, it's investing in the athletes. It's one of the most important things that they can do. And after our conversation today, I hope everybody out there in a clan society, whether you're an athlete or not, brings this conversation up and how to grow our community. Because when the athlete community grows, the society community grows, and we just get better from there. Clay, thank you so much for coming on the show. I can't wait to have you on in the future.
Oh, man. Thank you very much. I love being on it. You're awesome.
Thank you, brother. Talk to you soon.
All right. Talk to you later.
Listen, I hope you guys enjoyed that conversation with Clay, like I did. It's so funny because he told me off the air before we started. He's like, "Man, I'm not sure, if we'll get a full 30 minutes in," and we could have went a lot longer. Again, we try to keep it somewhat structured. So we don't go off the rails and we have hours long conversation, because I love talking to people about this stuff. I love getting people's opinions and just kind of understanding where they come from, how they've been brought up in the games, and their thought process moving forward. So again, since that conversation that we had, which was a few days obviously before the 15th that we were dropping it, because we normally interview ahead of time, he threw the challenge down to me, for Clan Campbell to start a throwing club. I've already reached out to one of our trustees and the president, and have another volunteer. So me and Cody Campbell from Oklahoma are hopefully getting nominated for our games committee, so we can bring it to the table to start a throws club. So I've taken what Clay has done with Clan Buchanan's Throwing Club. We are going to start something very similar for Clan Campbell. And that is my challenge to you. Whatever clan that you are listening from, uh, start it. If you guys don't have something already, start it. Let's start it. And I love the idea. And we're going to talk more with Clay in a couple more weeks about that idea of having some clan versus clan games. I know there's one, I believe, somewhere in the Carolinas. Loch Lomond might be a little bit like that, but we'll figure out. I know Florida normally does teams. They'll have a North versus South, or East versus West, and superheroes versus villains, whatever that may be. Sending your best in every category, women's, men's, masters, juniors, and having all those scores combined to compete against another clan sounds like a really fun day. I would love to throw in some tug of war and all that other fun stuff. But just another way for us to make sure that we are representing that past and having fun sharing the history. So, real quick, let's get right into some of the upcoming games. Guys, we got Father's Day weekend coming up. All the fathers out there, the ones that are active and in the lives of your children, congratulations for being great people. Happy Father's Day. Please don't get stuck behind the grill. Somebody grill for the pops out there. My own father is down in Florida. I won't be seeing him that week, but I will be seeing him shortly after. I'm super excited. I was adopted as a child, and the man that raised me, is a great individual, and I love celebrating him every chance I get. With that being said, there are some games all across the country. We have the wild and wonderful West Virginia Celtic Festival and Gathering on June 20th. Shooting just down the mountain a little bit to Asheville, the Taste of Scotland Celtic Festival and Highland Games is set for Father's Day weekend over in Asheville. Shooting across the country over to San Diego. Shout out to all my family in Mission Bay. The San Diego Scottish Highland Games over in Mission Valley River Park will be January 20th and 21st. So there's something for everybody all across the country this coming weekend. If you haven't been to a games recently, go. If you used to throw and you can't throw anymore, or you just haven't been lifting, or you haven't been involved, volunteer to go judge, volunteer to get involved with it. Let's make sure that we are helping this sport continue and grow, and just making sure we have a great time. If you don't want to do any of that, grab a cousin, grab a family member, grab the wife, the husband, grab whoever. Get out there and go have a dram of whiskey. Go have some fun. If you're from Kentucky, try, take your bourbon or share some bourbon. Or if you've never had bourbon, go try some bourbon. So that's what we're really trying to get to. And real quick shout out, just as a reminder, anybody that hasn't taken time off, if you haven't got a camping spot now, you will not get the opportunity because I believe it is sold out already. Grandfather Mountain, Linville, North Carolina is going to be July 9th through the 12th. Huge Highland Games on the East Coast. If you've never been, if you're from the West Coast, I highly suggest you get out there to check it out. Camping is sold out. I believe you have to stay away, and then just kind of get an Uber in or something like that because it's going to be packed. So all that is coming up. Just make sure you take the time to get out to a Highland Games this weekend. If you don't, enjoy your time with your kids. Fathers, have a great one, and just kind of do whatever makes you happy. I will say one thing real quick, just to kind of jump back on this bandwagon. A couple upcoming shows that we definitely want to make sure that we catch. If you did not get an invite to the Scottish Athletics International's Masters World Championship, it is being held in the Netherlands. It is being held September 4th through September 6th. I know it is not cheap to, travel abroad. This is a fantastic opportunity. I know that they had sent out 4 different waves of invites, and I'm not sure that all of the categories filled up. So if you need to get a hold of anybody in that region, that is going to go ahead and go to this website right here, Scottish Athletics International. Type it in your Google. You'll be able to get there. Couple other opportunities coming up. If you don't want to travel across the pond, there should have been some invites sent out for the West Coast Championship and NASGA Legends Masters U.S. National Championship in Eminence, Kentucky, which is a home game for me. So hope to see you all out at all of these. I will not be in the Netherlands myself. Maybe next season we'll get out there for sure, because we are still working on the old the travel bus for Rally the Tartans. But again, this was a quick episode, guys. Just wanted to make sure that we're getting consistent again. We're on the 1st and the 15th of every month, and today's episode wasn't even a whole lot. Today's episode may have just seemed like 3 different topics or something of that nature. And to be honest, it was just that. It was a throwing club. It was the website going offline. It was the new scoring platform. But really, they're all the same story, right? Every generation inherits Scottish culture from the people who came before them. The question is whether they're willing to leave it stronger than they found it, right? Clan Buchanan is doing that through athletic development. The people behind NASGA did it through preserving history. Danny Webster and the Scottish Athletics International crew are doing it by ensuring that history continues into the future. The future of the Highland Games won't be determined by one throw, one athlete or clan or one website. It'll be determined by the people who are willing to build something that lasts. And that's a tradition worth rallying around, right? So We'll see you again next time on Rally the Tartans.